Hello, harmonium people of the world. My name is Nick, and this is a Bhava Classic Concert Edition, and it's awesome. End of story. But why is it awesome? First, let's talk about what is a classic design. So a classic is a collapsing harmonium. I'm going to show you how that works. If you let out the air there, it makes a great sound. You close up the bellows, you close off these stops and this drone. Now that you've let all the air out, you can just unhook back here, flip this around, and then this drops down into the case, and suddenly you have a beautiful full-size, full-featured harmonium that you can fit in an overhead compartment on a plane and take anywhere. So that's kind of the obvious reason why people like this design, and it became popular thanks to folks like Krishna Das, who has played this style of harmonium, not this particular harmonium, but this style for decades now, and it's practical for a lot of reasons. It's a 2-reed design inside. In terms of servicing, these are fairly easy instruments to service. If you ever have problems, us or any other retailer that sells this kind of thing can talk you through whatever it is that needs to be adjusted or something. They're easy to work on, and I'm comparing them to something like a Calcutta style scale changing harmonium. Those have a lot of extra parts in the mix, and they can become very complicated to work on. So this is actually going to be the biggest Bhava Harmonium platform to date, but it's great if you're just really after the very best sound, because this one's going to have more sustain. This bellows right here, it brings in more air. Inside it holds more air, and when you put that together and you just play a chord, that chord's gonna ring out for a lot longer, and that's what they're talking about when people talk about sustain. The length of time that you can hear those notes from a single pump is just gonna be more, because this has more air to work with. And then also, I think the other part that's going on here with an instrument like this, it has more resonant space over which the sound can kind of be created. So if you just think about larger instruments, think about larger pianos or larger guitars as compared to smaller guitars, anytime you shrink down an instrument, the bass notes are a little less. It just doesn't have as much room over which to resonate. And it doesn't mean that the bass notes are not the pitch. You'll still hear that pitch of note, but you hear the note more fully when it's resonating in a larger box. So that's a benefit to a full size. So I'll go over the features here. On the Bhava Classic, you have 2 stops and 1, 2, 3, 4 drones. So the first stop is the male reeds get opened with that stop. When you open the second stop there, you'll hear the bass reed. If I open the first one again, you now hear both together. If I open this right here, that is a C drone, a D drone, a G drone, and an A drone. So the drones, basically, they work in the bass reed chamber, and you do have to have this bass stop, this second one, open in order to hear those drones. If I turn this off, you don't hear them anymore. Important user note. Let's see, anything else to tell you about this? Oh, dovetail jointing right here. So this thing, I talked about all the moving components and stuff, but structurally, this thing, it is very solid. Teak wood, inherently, it's a hard wood. It's a good quality wood. You're gonna have trouble breaking this. And then just to make things even better, these finger locking joints that you can see here, these are called dovetails. The best quality cabinetry and construction, you know, this is the kind of thing you see. One thing that's cool about this in a musical instrument is that there's no nails necessary. These joints just have a little bit of an angle to them, and the way that they come together, you would have to saw this apart to make it break. So these don't break, and then that means that when we talk about resonance, there's not like a metal rod, which is not a rod, but it's a nail. But those nails and metal pieces are not in the construction, and they're not dampening the resonance as a result. So it's just a very free, but also a very strong design. It also takes more time to build something like this. Knowing the factory where these are made, they can build 3 standard shells in the time that they can build just one of these. So that's why you pay more for construction like this. But in terms of durability and longevity, and even just in terms of sound, this teak shell, it is the cleanest sound that you're gonna get. The lows, again, that low frequency just comes so richly through the teak wood, and the highs are gorgeous. So we'll go ahead and show those off with the sound sample, and I hope that all this information is helpful to you as you look around.